let's have a quick relook at the build quality of the Samsung Galaxy A20, which most probably had the weakest build quality and plastic design made by Samsung and tested on the channel. As you can see, the Samsung A20 had not done particularly well due to its weak design and build quality. So in this video, let's test out the hardware performance and structural integrity of the Galaxy A20s. Is Samsung taking this test seriously and have they improved the build quality for its loyal consumers, like the improvements seen on latest Xiaomi and Redmi devices? Samsung was back with the Galaxy A20s 6 months after the debacle of the Galaxy A20. So it will be interesting to see if they have actually worked on improving the newer A20s with a stronger build, or have they just kept the same weak design of the Galaxy A20. The Galaxy A20s has slight improvements over the A20, mainly with a better Qualcomm processor in the budget range and the presence of a triple camera setup as compared to dual cameras on the A20. Though this time the A20s has an LCD screen. Apart from that, the rest pretty much remains the same, with the 4000 mAh battery, dedicated 1TB memory card slot, rear fingerprint scanner and USB Type-C charging port. Another important difference to take note of is the weight of the Samsung A20s. This time is 183 grams, which is comparatively a bit lighter than some 190 to 200 gram devices, but is a full 14 grams heavier than the 169 grams Galaxy A20. And thankfully, it seems to at least not feel weak in my usual trial bend. Now before the drop test, let's have a quick look at the general and gaming performance of the Samsung A20s. For you guys who also want to know if this lower than mid-range device can game, or for those who want a secondary phone. The A20s is equipped with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 450 processor in combination with the Adreno 506 GPU, which is just about okay for a less than moderate user or light user. It is certainly not the fastest device at this price range, with noticeable lags and slowness in the UI, especially noticeable if you have gotten used to processors like the Snapdragon 665, 712 or above. But if you can overlook the lack of smoothness and lag during heavy gameplay, then the A20s is just about playable at the lowest graphics settings. Certainly not recommended for heavy gamers though. The last Samsung device to completely fail the drop test was the Galaxy A20s, where the AMOLED display had suffered total damage. So let's find out if the LCD display on the A20s does better than that. Performing the drop test on the A20s with an ordinary case and tempered glass from different angles, first from pocket height. After 5 hard drops on marble from pocket height, the Samsung A20s seems to have handled the abuse well. Now for the 6th drop from 6 feet head height from different angles. is good news that the Galaxy A20s did pretty well in the drop test. Apart from just minor cracks at the edge of the glass protection, the A20s passes the test without suffering any internal or external damages like to the camera unit or display. Next in the scratch test, to know the scratch resistant capabilities of this unnamed tempered glass protection provided by the brand by rubbing it with common atoms found in pockets and the blade of a heavy duty box cutter. Samsung have mostly had a good track record in my scratch tests with high quality scratch resistant Corning glass with oleophobic coating, and the same can be said of cheaper budget Redmi devices with Corning glass protection. On the other hand, most devices tested on the channel in the budget range of Oppo, Vivo and Realme with pre-applied plastic screen protectors are highly scratch prone and are not able to handle the blade. So will the provided glass protection on the Samsung Galaxy A20s be able to keep up this tradition? As suspected earlier, apart from a few hairline scratches, the glass protection on the Galaxy A20s is similar to the quality of Corning glass protection and passes my scratch test. Points to remember is that the A20s is not water resistant and does not have an official IP rating. Another thing is that the SIM tray does not have a rubber seal on it, something which some budget devices from other brands do provide for some degree of water resistance. Testing as usual for the presence of an oleophobic coating on this unnamed tempered glass protection. As of now, it is not yet officially listed on the Corning website, and usually it takes some time for it to show up on the site. Coming back to the oleophobic coating, this layer is mostly absent on devices with pre-applied screen protectors. But other than that, it is generally present even on lowest price budget devices like Redmi. It helps to lessen fingerprint smudges, and as you can see, its presence is proved when water rolls off the glass surface in the form of droplets, instead of lying flat on glasses without an oleophobic layer. Most commonly, the first thing to get affected on non-water resistant devices is the volume and distortion of sound. The distorted low audio can last for a few seconds on some devices, but can also prolong for several hours, which can permanently damage the sound of the display unit. And Samsung devices tested on the channel have not particularly done well in this regard. Other than that, devices can suffer from screen flickering issues, or the display may go blank for several hours, or it may suffer total and permanent display damage, like in the Asus Zenfone 5Z, or the recently tested Redmi Note 8, where the display had permanently gone blank in the light splashing round. It is kind of surprising that the Galaxy A20s, keeping Samsung's track record in mind, has performed this well in the last heavy drenching round. It passes my water test with ease and suffers no liquid damage of any kind. Now moving on to fun stuff with value, the bend test, which gives you a clear idea about the build quality of devices. Has Samsung made any structural changes to the Galaxy A20s, especially after the massive structural failure of the A20? As some of you might be aware that the A20 had broken down with moderate amounts of pressure from the first bend itself. But unlike the A20, the A20s has managed to handle high amounts of force from the display side with no visible signs of damage, cracking noises or screen separation. Though it did suffer from a light amount of permanent bend, And it is the same thing also when pressure was applied from the backside. The third bend though did manage to create a bit of gap in between the screen and the volume buttons, but ultimately it locks out, suffering no further damage. Samsung seems to have taken the bend test fails of soft plastic devices seriously, like the A50 and A70, and specially improved upon the weakest build of the A20. This ultimately should benefit us in the long run and ensure that the consumers continue to get better quality builds. The Samsung Galaxy A20 passes my bend test pretty convincingly due to its improved design and build quality.